Have you ever scrolled for 5 minutes and looked up to realize it's been an hour? Have you ever felt worse after using your phone, yet you couldn't stop? That isn't an accident. Welcome to the invisible cage. We live in an era where our lives are being subtly sculpted, not by philosophers or poets, but by algorithms, built not to enlighten us, but to engage us. And the cost? Our attention, our health, our sense of self. Social media claims to be a mirror, reflecting who we are. But what if it's more like a funhouse mirror, bending and reshaping our personalities without us even noticing? In psychology, there's a term, the looking glass self. Coined by Charles Horton Cooley, it suggests that we form our sense of self based on how we believe others perceive us. Now, imagine that mirror is Instagram, where you only see curated, filtered, and idealized versions of everyone's life. You begin to shape yourself to be liked, not to be real. We become what we behold, said philosopher Marshall McLuhan. We shape our tools, and thereafter, our tools shape us. Social media started as a tool, but now it's the sculptor, and we are the clay. In 2017, Sean Parker, Facebook's founding president, said something chilling. We need to sort of give you a little dopamine hit every once in a while. It's a social validation feedback loop, exactly the kind of thing a hacker like myself would come up with. This wasn't just business, it was brain science. Social platforms are designed to exploit your dopaminergic system, the part of your brain responsible for reward and motivation. Notifications, rewards, likes, social proof, reels and stories, variable rewards, just like slot machines. And so, we scroll. We scroll for hits of belonging, but we rarely notice we're addicted. A 2021 study in Nature Communications found that platforms like TikTok may shorten attention spans and rewire how our brains seek reward, increasing impulsivity. Have you ever taken a photo just to post it? Have you ever done something for the aesthetic instead of for yourself? This is the slow death of the authentic life. Søren Kierkegaard once said, "The greatest hazard of all, losing oneself, can occur very quietly in the world, as if it were nothing at all." And that's what makes this so dangerous. It happens invisibly. We aren't told to change, we just do. Gradually, subtly. A 2018 survey by the UK's Royal Society for Public Health found Instagram to be the worst social platform for mental health, associated with anxiety, depression, loneliness, and poor sleep. Young people now feel pressure to brand themselves instead of discover themselves. Real life becomes content. Moments become metrics. What if I told you your anger is profitable? Your fear? Monetized? Platforms amplify content that triggers emotion, especially outrage, because strong emotion increases engagement. In 2014, Facebook ran a psychological experiment on 700,000 users without their consent. They manipulated users' feeds to show either more positive or negative content, just to see if it would change people's emotions. It did. This isn't science fiction. This is the algorithm at work, quietly pulling the strings. And we rarely ask, why am I seeing this? Why am I feeling this way? French philosopher Michel Foucault warned of invisible power structures, systems so embedded that we mistake them for normal. Social media doesn't force us to feel. It nudges us until we forget we were ever standing on our own. We like to believe we're in control, but if the content you see is chosen by an algorithm, if your sense of self is shaped by likes and shares, if your attention is farmed for profit, are you truly free? Plato once described a cave where prisoners were shown shadows on a wall and mistook them for reality. Today, our walls are screens, and we are still watching shadows. But there is hope. Awareness is the first rebellion. The moment you begin to question, you begin to reclaim. Social media is not evil, but it is powerful. And like any tool, it must be held, not worshipped. Delete the app if you must. But more importantly, reclaim the narrative of your life. Spend time offline, not to escape, but to reconnect. Write before you post. Breathe before you scroll. Ask yourself, is this shaping me or am I shaping it? As Viktor Frankl once said, between stimulus and response, there is a space. In that space is our power to choose our response. In our response lies our growth and our freedom. That space is yours. Claim it. This isn't a warning. It's a wake-up call. Because in the age of distraction, presence is a radical act. In the age of performance, authenticity is rebellion. And in the age of the algorithm, being human is revolutionary.